Hey y'all, DJ Dum Ditty here at the DJ Dum Ditty News. Today is March the 28th. Here's what's trending. Republicans admit at the Affordable Care Act, the repeal is back on the table. In soccer, Lionel Messi is banned for 4 games. This includes the qualifiers, y'all. Banned for 4 games for ranting at an official. News host Bill O'Reilly in the news making a James Brown wig joke against a black Donald Trump critic, lawmaker. He made poked a little fun at her, and that wasn't the right thing to do. I imagine he'll be apologizing before much longer. In Lisburn, North Ireland, human waste is found in Coke cans. I mean, I know that stuff tastes like shit, but I mean, come on now. Amazon expands by acquiring the largest e-commerce site in the Middle East. That'd be Souk. At least that's the way I think it's pronounced. Ford Motor Company says they're going to invest $1.2 billion in 3 Michigan plants. They want to create or retain 130 jobs. $1.2 billion to create or retain 130 jobs. Sounds like a bunch of robotics if you ask me. And that ain't making jobs for no people. Alright, that's what's trending in today's news. On this date in history, 1962, Jack Parr made his final appearance on The Tonight Show. I believe there's a young man came in to fill in for him afterwards. His name might have been Johnny Carson. In 1945, Jimmy Stewart is promoted to a full bird colonel. He's one of a very, very few Americans to go from private to colonel in 4 years. So congratulations, Jimmy Stewart, in 1945. It was on this date in 1848 the Niagara Falls stopped flowing, y'all. Yeah, there was no water going over the falls in 1848 for 30 hours. There was an ice jam further upstream, blocked all the water, and the falls went dry. It was on this date in 1795, Ludwig van Beethoven debuts in Vienna. Oddly enough, it was also on this date in 1827 that 20,000 people attended his burial in Vienna. How about that? Makes his debut, and then he's buried all on the same day. It was on this date in 1998, Viagra is approved by the FDA and made millions of men very happy and millions of women even more happy, a little blue pill. It was on this date in 1975, we had a nuclear accident on 3 Mile Island. It was on this date in 1973 that the U.S. withdraws from Vietnam. That's right, the final troops left Vietnam on this date in 1973. It was on this date in 1865 that the campaign at Appomattox began. We know that was the final campaign that ended the Civil War. It was on this date in 1951 that the Rosenbergs were convicted of espionage. It was on this date in 1999, y'all, the Dow closed above 10,000 for the very first time. That'd be March 28th. It was on this date in 1974 that Mariner 10 made the first spacecraft to visit Mercury. It was on this date in 2005 that Miramax Films and Disney decided to part ways. They often had a contentious, if not productive, relationship. It was on this date in 1806 Congress authorized the survey of the Cumberland Road. 1790, future President John Tyler is born in Colonial Virginia. He's the last person, the last president to be born in Colonial Virginia. Other people from Virginia that made president: Washington, Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. It was on this date in 1929 Herbert Hoover had the telephone installed in the Oval Office. And in 1997, the first game at Turner Field was played. We beat the Yankees 2-0 in an exhibition game. In 1982, the North Carolina Tar Heels win the first NCAA tournament. They beat Georgetown, which oddly enough, they're back in it this year along with Gonzaga and South Carolina and somebody else I can't remember. It was on this date that Dr. Joseph Guillotine, he's the man that they named the guillotine after. He's laid to rest. He had his head intact. Now, here's a little funny thing about Dr. Joseph Guillotine. Did you know that he was not a proponent of the death penalty? In fact, the whole reason that he advocated for the guillotine is because he wanted a quick and humane death, And number two, he wanted to show that not only the peasants but also the aristocrats could all die in the same way. He died in 1814, and immediately upon that, not only was he so much against the death penalty, he had come to detest the fact that his name went with the guillotine. His children, upon his death, asked the French to rename the machine, to take the guillotine off it. They didn't want their name on it no more, and they said they wasn't going to do it, so the family changed their name. They went from guillotine to Mercier, which I believe is the name for mercy. That takes care of today's news and what's in the news and what's on the birthday. I am DJ Dum Ditty. Please remember to go to our fun site, GoFundMe, Carly's Car. We got a new thing on there. Carly's car burned up, and we're trying to get her a new one through no fault of her own, mind you. And Dodge won't do anything about it, so I'm no longer a Dodge fan. Anyway, that's news. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you're walking, don't trip. Until later.